Alneja.
Yeah, don't worry about it because it's really challenging, even for Slovenians, so it's fine.
I go through the same thing, and I think it's kind of like made me want to be extra sure with people because people butcher my name all the time, especially now with my last name. It's like that's a complicated name, and I'm like, it's really not.
Welcome to Just the Who of Us, hosted by Reah Higgs. This is a space for honest, thoughtful conversations around mental health, life journeys, holistic wellnesses, and the experiences that shape who we are. Take a breath, settle in, and join Reah and today's guests as we explore the stories that connect us.
I'm really glad to have you here, for a couple of reasons. You made some accommodations to be here, and I really, really appreciate that. And so this is a really nice conversation to have with my audience. It's not a conversation that I have guests on to talk about frequently, so I'm glad to add you to the mix to talk about this topic. Um, so the first of few conversations we're going to have is introducing you as a fertility and mom coach. And you have a unique story of kind of how you came into this career field, and today we're going to explore that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really happy about this conversation today, and it's actually very lovely to see you again. Uh, First, I wanted to congratulate you on your book.
Thank
That's,
you.
I really love that you included your son into your project and your book.
Yeah.
It's like a really lovely gesture and a confirmation that our kids are basically kind of our greatest teachers.
Yeah.
Um, and it seems like we both have a mission that revolves around kids in
Uh-huh.
some way, which is probably also the reason why universe brought us together. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yes. Yeah, I've written other books, and I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, and I have two other children, not including my youngest, who was diagnosed with ADHD. And so it was really challenging, working through some things, especially having kids so young and not even fully like exploring and understanding my own diagnosis. It's just kind of, oh, I get distracted, I talk a lot, blah, blah, blah. And, not even really exploring that and understanding it when I was younger. So raising multiple kids with it, myself trying to navigate it, it's not really something I kind of put together. My ADHD was always kind of separate from theirs because I'm an adult and they're kids. And so with my youngest, he's struggling with certain things. And I have also been trying to kind of explore my own adult ADHD. And
Mhm.
it's happening around the same time. There's certain things that I'm learning from him and certain things that I'm having these aha moments with myself, like, okay, I see him doing this. And then, my husband will point it out, or I will catch myself
Mhm.
doing kind of the same thing. For instance, like taking medication. Me and my other two kids with ADHD struggle to take our routine medication. I always have. I didn't even take medication as a kid because I didn't want to, and I was allowed to make that choice. And it took me a long time also to even utilize medication for my kids because I was so against it. Um, you know, so it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, well, I'm struggling with this, and I fuss at him for struggling with it. How can we work together and try to do better at this together? Because
That's amazing.
yeah, and so we sat down one day. I was like, let's write a book about this. And I sat down with him, and I did my little mind map as I usually do. And I said, what are some things that you would like that you think as a kid it would be helpful for other kids to understand about this? And we came up with some things, and that's kind of how we came up with the points in the book. And so yeah, it's really cool.
I love it. It's really nice.
I like the way it came together. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of it. And so I'm going to be pushing that a lot. I think it could really go far. And, a couple people have pointed out that they don't see a lot of books for parent and kid
Mm.
together. And maybe
Yeah,
it's
it's special, it's different.
yeah, yeah. So I'm excited. Now I have more ideas.
I wish you both all the luck with your book,
Thank you.
and it's really great that you kind of um, consider the fact that other people can have similar issues, right? And that maybe they can benefit from your book.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty sure there are a lot of families out there who have like the same problem, and you providing this book can be of great help. So I think it's a really lovely thing to do.
Thank you. It's like
Um,
it's one of those things that it's just like um coaching or writing, providing therapy, these things that we do to share our own life experience
yeah,
to help other people get through theirs. That's like, as a coach, and I know you've experienced this, we've asked ourselves before, why would someone listen to me? Right. Or
mm,
why, like, what's the point of me sharing my story? Okay, it happened to me and I'm working through it, but why share it? And the important answer is that to help other people.
exactly. Yeah.
Everything that we do in this line of work, we do to benefit other people. So it's one thing I like to tell people who are considering being a coach or writing a book. Um, your purpose is to help people. And that's, if you ever question yourself, that's why we do this. That's why we share our stories. That's why, we go on other people's podcasts. That's why we talk about ourselves is to share our stories so that other people.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's a really great mission because you know, eh, there are a lot of books, a lot of information out there. Like you can find all sorts of things on the net, right? But
Mhm.
it's completely different when you hear it from the perspective of a person who lived this story.
Yeah.
It's different because they might be like a couple of steps ahead of you, and maybe this is exactly what you need to hear. Maybe you just need that, I don't know, um, to see that there is a next step, that you can get out of it, that you can overcome all the challenges and the issues. And I think even just motivating people is an amazing job and an amazing mission.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Um, so shifting focus back to you because you're
Well, it's kind of, I think that what we talked about is kind of related also to my topic because it's a kid-related topic. And if you would ask my younger self if she ever wanted to work on a kid's topic, she would probably say, hell no,
right,
like no way. But I guess life has a funny way of making us do the things we swore we'd never do, right?
right.
You never really know where life is going to take you. Uh, and also with the work that we do, I think it's not something that you kind of sit down and you say, "Oh, what do people need nowadays?" Oh, okay, this could work, or "Oh, this is a very interesting topic," or "People need this. This is a good way of, I don't know, getting money or whatever." This is not why we do it. We do it because this was part of our story, and we felt this obligation to share it with other people because we wanted someone uh, to share these information with us, but nobody did. So it was much harder for us. And
Yeah,
and I think that the mission comes from this desire to help people get to where we are now faster and maybe with more ease.
right,
Um, so it's definitely, not something you just wake up and decide you're gonna do. It's always like a product of what happened to you. And
yeah,
the same is your book. It's the same with your book. Like it was a part of your story, and also me becoming a fertility coach was a part of my story. Um, so it wasn't really like me saying, "Oh, this is interesting. I want to do it." first it happened to me, and as I overcome the challenges, I kind of felt, okay, I need to share this with other people because I know how hard it is. I know how frustrating it is. And I wish there was someone who could have told me all these things when I was at that point,
Yeah.
that point of complete despair, and I was scared, and I was like really struggling with the idea that I might never become a mom. That what's gonna happen, I don't know, to me or to our relationship, like, is it gonna last? Is it gonna break because if we don't have kids? Like there was a lot of things going on inside my head at that point, and I would really appreciate someone who could have said, "Oh, I had that. I did this and that, and this is the outcome. You
Yeah.
can try, or you can find a similar way, a different technique, a different approach, but there's a way. You don't really have to just give up."
Yeah.
And that's also the reason why I started doing this job. And it was like, I think it was 12, maybe even 13 years ago, when Thea, who was basically my first spiritual mentors, and she was extremely intuitive. And I remember I was in one of her classes, it was a mentorship class. Like I felt my entire life this need that I want to help people. I just didn't really know where, in which area.
Right.
And I remember her telling me at some point, you're going to work with kids. And I said, where did you come up with kids? I mean, I was always so clumsy and like really weird around kids. I was I was kind of scared of them, if I'm honest. But it also has like a story that goes back into my childhood, so it's not really that unlogical.
Yeah.
But I remember her telling me this, and I was like, no, she must be wrong. This is absolutely not what I envisioned. I was hoping she would say, oh, okay, you can help people, I don't know, get in touch with their intuition or do something, I don't know, woo woo, whatever. And then she said, kids. And I was like, how? I don't know anything about kids. I don't even have kids. And then I remember that I was really struggling with this idea, and I was really hoping that she made a mistake, but I knew from before that she never makes a mistake. Like her intuitive insight was always like, it was always, well, whatever she said happened. So I was kind of worried.
Right.
And then I remember asking her afterwards, I said, are you sure it's kids? Because it just kind of didn't make sense. And she said, yes, that's how I feel. And you'll see. Maybe you don't get it now, but just give it time. And a year later, it all made sense because that was the year when everything kind of spiraled and everything went down the hill. I remember this was one of my most challenging years, like health-wise. There were a lot of stuff that happened, like in a very short period of time. There were like the precancerous changes. There was a procedure that kind of took part of my cervix. There was the burnout, the thyroid collapse. There were just so many things. And then on top of that, I remember just saying to myself, okay, what else can happen to me? And then I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and he tells me, like, you'll probably never be able to be a mom. And I was like, what? How? I mean, how did this happen to me? So many things in one year. It
Yeah.
just kind of felt really crazy. And I remember just, thinking, okay, I must be really off my track. This is this is this is probably the universe trying to tell me that I'm completely off the right path, and I just need to, find my way back. Because I always felt like whatever my body was kind of signaling me that it wasn't really physical. I always felt that. I always knew that.
Yeah.
And for me, it was always like a silent calling to look within and to see what's wrong on the inside. So I always had this kind of interaction with my body. Um, and that was the moment when I knew I had to change everything, like how I live, how I think, what I do. And especially the fact that I need to go back into the past and heal the unhealed parts of me, especially my inner child.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when I did that, and it was a very tough, hard, and very emotional journey. But 3 months later, I was pregnant, even though he said the chances are very slim. So I guess it was worth going down that path.
Yeah.
And I always keep telling my clients that even if it seems like there's no hope, even if the doctors say, you're too old, you have this, you have that, just don't listen. It's your body.
Right.
If it broke, you can fix it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's excuse me. It's so interesting. I've had multiple conversations with people recently, neuropaths, uh, different different type of people who are their kind of main goal is to get people to understand that lifestyle changes, eating habits, different things that we can change within ourselves have such an impact on what our body can do.
Yeah.
There's we can get diagnosis after diagnosis and try medication after medication, but if we don't heal ourselves within, these issues are just going to kind of linger around. And that goes for physical illness as well as mental illness. And our childhood trauma is it's like holding hands with this little child. And in my mind, at least anyway, we gotta kind of unlock and let ourselves be in the present moment. And it's not easy, right? Like, and I speak from my own experience with this. Like, I've been working for 30 years, to heal certain parts of my childhood. In some parts of my childhood, I've had to reframe how I look at this other person. Okay, well, this person really hurt me. Why did that person hurt me? My initial question is, why did this person choose this over me? Right. And as an adult in the mental health field, I learned that my question can't be that because for one, I can't change that. Right. And I'm kind of working through this with my son also with his birth mom. We can't
Mhm.
change what the person did to us, but we can change how we are responding to it now, how we choose to heal from it. And essentially, the phrase let it go is so, it sounds kind of dismissive, right? Well, like just let it go. But we have to unlock hands with that traumatized child to be
Yeah.
able to move on.
Yeah. And this was probably also what my mentor meant when she said, you're gonna work with kids. I took it very literally,
Right.
but maybe it wasn't that literal. Like maybe it was more like because when I started looking back and I was thinking about what she said, it could have been also, me working with the inner child, my inner child, and then later with my clients. But it was also, the fact that I'm not really working with kids, but I
Right.
do work for them in a way.
Right.
Like,
World.
yes. And it's really funny how life sometimes plays tricks on you, and it just gives you all these challenging life situations and all these lessons. But if you kind of find a way to see them as something greater, as something that's good, um, you might even discover your life purpose and your mission. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So I want to spend a little bit of time kind of talking about what exactly a fertility and mom coach does.
yeah,
um,
that's a question I get a lot. So I'm not really working on, fertility itself. The fertility is already there. It's within each and every one of us. What my mission and my job is rather to help them unlock what is already there. Because we don't just lose our fertility. It just gets blocked. It gets locked up for numerous reasons. And I believe that if someone is experiencing like fertility issues, it always points to something from the past. Usually it's a childhood trauma or a painful experience. Maybe also in the teenage years, it depends on what the person's situation was. But there's almost always a reason behind it. And this reason is not physical, it's not biological, it's not hormonal, it's not physical, but rather emotional. Uh, so, what I help people do is to find those hidden mindset, emotional, and even energy blocks, which are kind of preventing them to become pregnant. It's like just finding a way to unlock what is already there and to remember the thing that broke your body and just try to put it back together, like piece by piece.
yeah. Oh man. And it's true, but also, I mean, just because it makes sense, but also I know a couple of people who struggled with infertility in one relationship and found in themselves in another relationship, got pregnant very quickly.
Right?
Yeah, like one in particular, her and her husband struggled to conceive. They didn't have the greatest relationship. It was kind of, well, I want this. One partner wanted to have a child, one partner didn't. And the partner who didn't, the partner who did was said to be the one with the fertility issues, right? The woman. And so they go the IVF route, they spend tens of thousands of dollars, they finally get pregnant, they quickly after get divorced.
Yeah, it happens a
The
lot.
following relationship that the woman who was said to be the quote unquote infertile one in the relationship immediately gets pregnant and is in a happy, loving, fulfilling relationship. And so it's kind of crazy, because it's like on one end, you go from being told that you have quote unquote issues. There are things that are, physically stopping you from getting pregnant. And then you get pregnant naturally very quickly. So like well, it seems like it might not have been your physical quote unquote issues.
Yes, yes. It's very interesting how we think that the symptoms are really like health related,
Mhm.
but they're really not. Often it's just the reaction of the body or the soul that
Yeah.
already knows that this is not working. This is not okay. Like I want it to work, but it doesn't work. And even if I keep pretending it does, my body knows it's not working.
Right.
So
Right.
even if I want the kid really badly, my body is gonna refuse to cooperate. It's gonna just block all the paths, and it's gonna create a symptom, a situation, an issue where we could say, okay, this is not working. And it's not because it wants to punish us or it doesn't want to give us what we want. It just wants to point out, hey, there's something wrong. Maybe you should look at the relationship before you proceed. And
Yeah.
if we don't, and we still push things through, then we might end up with a kid after struggling to get there. But it usually also ends with a separation or a divorce afterwards. Maybe not right away, but maybe later on in life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So the body was already telling you this is not working, and
Right.
it was not working for a reason. Obviously, if they separated, and when the person that wasn't a good fit was eliminated, he was like out of the equation. The body didn't really need to protect itself anymore.
Yeah, that's so true. And
Just like that.
if our mind can protect us from remembering traumas,
Mm.
why would it not protect us from com procreating with a person who's not held to our body, our mind, you know?
Yeah, the body is very smart, actually. I think we kind of underestimate the physical intuition. Like, I
Yeah,
think we could be in touch with our bodies more often, like on daily basis, because this could not just help us, recognize what's wrong in our relationships or in our lives, but also, to figure out what's wrong inside your body before it gets serious.
right, right.
I,
Yeah.
I have an interesting story here that maybe we can explore further on in one of our future conversations. But
Okay.
just to give you a feeling of what I wanted to say here is like when I had all these health issues, and when the third stage precancerous changes occurred and I had to have that surgery. And you know this was really an interesting story because I kind of felt fine. I felt perfectly fine, but I was in a lot of stress for years due to my previous work, which I absolutely hated. And I remember like working late at night over weekends when I was on vacation during holidays. It was like, I was constantly in stress. And I didn't really have time to pause and to listen to what was going on inside my body. I was rejecting the idea that I hate this part of my life. I just kept going.
Right,
I
right.
think it's going to get better until my body said, no, enough. I need to stop you. You're being your worst enemy, and I need to find ways to stop you. And we humans are sometimes, we're just like wired this way that we need to be stopped before we consider stopping. Like, we
Yeah.
don't really want to stop the minute we feel something's off. We just wait until we hit the wall.
Or that we're forced to change. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was kind of also what happened to me because, um, I remember going into this very stressful period, and I thought, okay, I want to be a mom before knowing that all of this is going to happen.
Right.
I was really stressed, and I said, okay, I need to like decompress. I need to do something like, and I decided to go on a meditation. It was in person. I know it was a really large group. I had to drive like for 2 hours to get there. And I don't really remember what the topic was. I just I just remember I was sitting there or quietly, and the only thing I remember from the entire meditation, which was like an hour long, was seeing myself in like a doctor's office. It was all white. I was laying on a bed, and there were the doctors in those blue clothes, like when they go into procedures, and it's like, this is really strange. Why am I seeing this? And then I remember there was like a very, very strong pain in the lower part of my belly. And I felt like, oh no, there's something must be really wrong. And I remember when I came out of that meditation, I just packed up all of my stuff. I was really like shocked. I felt that something was wrong because this was the time when when I finally sat down and listened to my body, and I felt, okay, something's really, really off. And the next day I went to the doctor. I did like a very extensive checkup. They checked everything. And the final step was to see the gynecologist, which was something I was trying to avoid because I felt it was somewhere down there.
Yeah.
And being um, at the moment what I was starting to consider having a family was not really something that I wanted to acknowledge, and I was like trying to avoid it until the very end. And but I felt that something was really, really off. And then when I got the results back, and it was like third stage precancerous changes, and they said like it was last minute because it would could have gotten really bad.
Mhm.
Um, it was it was just a moment when I said, "Oh, thank God I went to that meditation," because I wouldn't have the time to sit quietly with my body and just tune in. And I would probably not go to the gynecologist for another year. Who knows what could have happened? Maybe I wouldn't be here today.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say, that it's really, really important to have that regular communication with your body, not just health-wise, but also, it always tells you not just that something's off, but also if you listen carefully, it's going to tell you where the problem comes from.
Right. Absolutely. You know, so I have two daughters that are 18 and 22, and this conversation that I've had with them, you know, once you become a certain age, because now at 18 and 22, I'm not controlling your doctor's appointments like I was, and one's a little more independent. The other, my 18-year-old would probably still have me go to all her appointments with her, make the phone calls and all the things. But,
Yeah.
trying to teach them a little more independence. One thing that I do communicate with them about is going to your yearly woman,
Hmm.
your annual woman checkup. And part of that is because sometimes we become overwhelmed with life to where we don't listen to our bodies, right? Just like you
Yeah.
said. And, going to these regular visits, whether it be to get your annual pap smear or to just have labs done, simple labs, whatever the case may be, or to just have the doctor ask you certain questions that you may not have thought to think about your body, it's really important because being preventative can save your life.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And for me, it felt like, from that moment on, I really felt like I needed to completely change my life, that this is not working. If I'm not in touch with my body, if I can't hear what it's trying to communicate, if I miss important things like these,
Yeah.
then I'm not doing things the right way. So I kind of felt like I needed more me time, that I needed like less stress, that I needed to kind of get rid of all the things that were stressing me out. And this was also part of the journey that I took. This was the outer work that I did, and then came the internal work that was me going back and healing my inner child. So the combination of, changing my outside life and the circumstances and eliminating all the stress, um, and healing whatever was broken when I was really small, I think that was like this package that kind of helped me get pregnant 3 months later.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing what our bodies can do by themselves. You know, excuse me, I'm so congested. I don't know why. Um, but it's amazing what our bodies can do for ourselves, and it's amazing what listening to our bodies can do for our lives.
Yeah. And I think that also the challenges and these difficult life situations, they're not always necessarily bad, even if they appear to be.
Yeah.
Like sometimes something bad must happen to us so that we kind of wake up, that
Right.
we recognize what we're doing wrong, that we get a chance to change and make things better. I'm not saying it's always the case. So sometimes somebody misses the right timing. Maybe they waited too long. Maybe they missed four, five, six calls that came from within, and they kind of, just didn't get another chance. It also happens. But I think that if we are like connected to the body and the soul, we will hear the very early callings and we get to choose to change our lives and do things differently. And I'm pretty sure that the higher power is going to give us a chance to make things right.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think of spirituality, and I say spirituality outside of religion. It started with my view on God, but I always think of spirituality as this kind of parent-child connection. And maybe that's because I've been a parent for so long, but it's like, you know, as sons and daughters, we make mistakes. We, don't listen to what our parents said, and then we get a little older and we are like, oh, you were right. And then we come back and we start making those better choices. And then, we're rewarded with that increasing connectivity at the very least, and the things that improve in our lives and through that increase in connectivity with that higher power. It's just like the parent-child relationship. Our relationship is going to be good because I love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
But the more I can teach you and the more that you can learn and the more that you apply those principles, our connection is going to be a little better because now we understand each other. And
Yeah.
you know, and so that's how I kind of, I think about it that way. It's, and rewards can be anything from that better connectivity to outside rewards, things changing in our lives for the better, our finances improving, our relationships improving, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And this is exactly what happened to me as when I started changing my life, when I had all these, issues that just came one after the other and they were like hitting me hard on the head. It was a wake-up call. It was someone trying to tell me you're either going to change or this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
Um, Out of this struggle came something beautiful. I mean, I'm not just a mom because of it. I also changed how I see children.
Hmm.
uh, Relationship to them changed because when I said in the beginning that if someone told me, to work with kids like before, I would say absolutely not. It's completely different for me today. As I was healing my inner child, I also healed this relationship, this weird relationship that I had towards kids because since I was hurt as a kid, I kind of felt this urge to stay away from them because adults hurt kids. And if you stay away, they're going to stay safe. Um, but it was like one bad thing that happened had this domino effect. And
Yes.
it had a very positive effect on different areas of my life. And it just kind of helped me um, figure out not just who I was, but also what I want to do. It gave me clarity on why I'm here and where I can contribute. So I really encourage everyone, to not look at the challenges that they're in as something necessarily bad. It might just be, an opportunity for you to find something really beautiful in the end.
Yes. I absolutely agree. Yeah. Yeah. I can attest to that from experience. And like you said, sometimes it's not the choice we want to make because it's difficult. I've faced that a couple of times this year. There's a couple of changes that I'm very, very grateful for.
Mhm.
They might not have happened the way I wanted them to, but that's because I didn't take control of them. I'm
Yeah.
glad that, the changes were made, but had I listened to my body, listened to my partner, I would have been able to control the process of those changes, right? So it's really important. Sometimes the universe is going to make it happen either
Yeah.
way. When,
If you don't do the work, it's gonna push you. It's gonna like pull you out from where you are. It's gonna just place you somewhere else and say, nope, you're completely off the track. This is where you're supposed to be. And
exactly.
the problem is that if we don't do it in our terms, if we don't do it like willingly, it's gonna be forced. It's gonna be very unpleasant. It's gonna be unexpected, painful. And that's why it's always better if we find the courage to do what we feel needs to be done.
Right, right,
Because
yeah.
if the universe does it for you, it's not going to be pleasant.
It's going to be very uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
necessary but uncomfortable. And that's one reason that coaches exist,
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
help guide you through those difficult changes and to help you understand why and how this path is necessary to reach your goal.
Yes. And if you listen and you don't really ignore that inner voice,
Yeah.
the symptoms in your body, the emotions that you have,
Yep.
then you can actually, with the help of someone who kind of experienced maybe the same thing,
Yeah.
um, you can get to the end point without um, too many bad consequences, I would
Right.
say. So
Right.
you can spare yourself some trouble if you're careful, if you listen, if you act fast enough.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing, to admit I need help. I can do it myself. I need to talk to someone. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. Because I feel like people, it's better. It's easier for them to find help, I think. But some of them are still struggling. Like if I say I need help, that means I failed. I wasn't able to do it myself. And I especially see this. In coaches because we think we need to save ourselves. We need to help ourselves because if we can't, how are we going to help others? But the thing is that um, it's a very different thing to help other people and to help yourself. So even we coaches need help sometimes, and I think it's really important for us to accept that help.
Yeah, it's why professional support systems exist, right? Because people need professional support. And, the difference between a personal and professional support system is that this professional support system has to go through certain training. They have to have,
Mhm.
they have to have the knowledge and the education of certain things to be able to professionally guide someone through something. And that's even coaches too. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
so either way, but if you don't reach out to a professional support system, at least reach out to a personal, at least make sure you have a personal support system. And if you feel like you need something a little bit more, then that's what we're here for. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to say or ask or anything?
I think that the plan that we have, like for our future conversations, is really nice. So I'm really looking forward to each and every episode because it was really. I can tell that you thought through every topic, and I think it's going to be really really nice and helpful also for the audience because we can kind of give them like. Help in different areas, even inside the same topic, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. There's a couple of other things that we're going to talk about separately a little bit more in depth. They all kind of tie into this same focus, but we felt like each thing deserved a little bit more respect and a little more time. So, um, yeah, we could talk, we could mention it here, but it wouldn't do any justice because these things deserve their own separate space. So, I'm glad that you're available for that, and I look
I'm
forward
looking
to
forward to it.
me too. All right, well, thank you so much for being here today, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for spending this time with us on Just the Who of Us. We hope today's conversation offered reflection, comfort, or a moment of clarity. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone who may need it. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, you're not alone in the journey.